What's up, y'all? I like the battle for firsts. Angel, looks like you got it. What's up? Reef Doink, Evan, Algae Warrior, Rusty. Matt wants to see the shim. Wow. What's up, Steven? It's a little slow today. I didn't know that I was going to be pulling off a stream. Had some people over. Did a little thing. Had a little shindig. Did some eating. You know, things are starting to open up a little bit, and that's kind of cool. And I knew the people who were coming over, so that's even better. We got a little talking to do. I really don't know what to talk about. I mean, I'm going through some lights. That's pretty awesome. Some people are sending me some lights. One of them I bought. So that's cool. That thing right there. I don't know who calls stuff like this. It's called Smat Farm. But the box says G5 Aqua Star. Whatever. I really like the spectrum. I wonder if I can show that. I should be able to show that. Maybe? I don't know. And I thought we'd run through a little bit of Instagram goodness, because last week, and cheers, Luca, thanks for coming on last week. Last week we didn't get through any of the stuff that I had been experiencing. And then certainly we want to talk about Algae Warrior. We want to talk about Calc Slurry, because it is going strong. And I can pull up the GHL stuff while I'm sitting here, so at least I can be ready there. Man, what's going on? Hit me up with some questions. Because we could talk about silly things like the battery box that my kid designed me. I'm going to be printing the lid here in a minute. Right now I'm printing an airsoft silencer that he designed, and I'm waiting to see how that looks. But I was like, yo, hey. By the way, the orange is the color of the Prusa. Just saying. What's up, Puddle? I was like, hey, I need a box for my lithium iron phosphates, and I need room for the BMS that lives in here. He goes, yeah, I got you. So he made me this box, and it's like perfect. So I'm going to make a little lid just from what he designed. I could just cut it down a little bit, hot glue it or super glue it or whatever onto here with a connector, so I have access to these batteries, because I want to be doing some spot welding and whatever you need a 12-volt battery for, right? This thing's pretty handy. You can make these things really, really easy, and they last for freaking ever. Because the Jabo in the Calc Slurry hasn't crapped out on me yet, this motor, and wherever the crap I put it's probably up there, wherever I put the impeller, I haven't needed to install this yet, which I'm also digging, because as long as I can go on that Jabo, it's easy, right? Anybody can go get a Jabo SLW, whatever, 20. This one's a 20. No, it's a 10. SLW 10, and throw it in a bucket and work on some Calc Slurry. So, whatever. I haven't had to do anything with this yet, but I'll get there. I'm happy to have you here, Puddle. Let's do a little bit of this. I don't even know that we talked about I know we talked a little bit about the sky. I'm not sure we totally talked about the sky, but you know, what are you going to do? And why the crap is it all the way over here? That doesn't make any sense now, does it? Something happened. Look at that. Look how easy it is, people. This is a chalice, and that's pretty cool. I don't know what it is. I don't know whatever, but it's cool. I got it from a local here. And it has started to just freaking take off. I have it right next to this Pectinia, which is that's a pretty coral. I really like that coral. I think I could do this. Can I do this? Let's just do it this way, because this makes more sense to me. I'm going to scooch this up here. We're going to do a little live. A little bit of this live. You know how I roll. That's kind of how I roll with data too, right? You get it right away. Like I said, this chalice. Let me get chat up so at least I could see that. I think I can do both. Maybe I can't. I can look at it here. Just started 60-gallon cube yesterday. What's up, Callie? Bacteria went in. pH has been around 7.7 or so. My alk is at 11. Ooh, is that Red Sea black bucket? Ugh, that's not my thing. That's too high. $7.7. Let that thing chill. Let it do what it's doing. But really, that that alk of 11. I don't know. I'm an 8.5-er. That's how I roll. I think that black bucket alk is just too high, and I don't get it. I mean, it makes sense if you're not adding any alkalinity. You're only doing so through like continuous auto water changes. I don't get it. I'm sure there's a thing, and I just don't get it. Like I said, so blue bucket. That's not right. What are you using to test your alkalinity? 11's not right. Not out of blue bucket. This guy, this engineer Goby, I've had it for a long time, and that thing is, I don't know, that thing's like about that long. It's huge. It's pretty awesome, and it eats and it's happy and it moves stuff around. Yeah, 8 would be a good target. That's a fun little fish. My alk rises with Fritz, rides around 9 with Fritz blue bucket. Yeah, Reef Doink. Fritz blue is my go-to if I can't get, is Fritz or Red Sea blue. One of those two, whatever. Either of the blue buckets, I'm going to go that direction if I can't get HW. I have 2 boxes in my garage. Last I checked, it was finally out of stock. BRS went through like 1,100 or 1,300 boxes of that stuff. I mean, once you can't get Tropic Marin, people got to go somewhere, right? It looks like the other German salt is sold out. Wop wop. That sucks, but it's cool. This thing, this little freshwater tank that lives up here in the craft room with me, I am just digging on this tank. It's just a little Spec 3, a Fluval Spec 3 with Kessel A80 sitting on top of it. It's great. And those fish are happy, and they're eating. And look, this nice little tank sitting up there. What's up, Braveheart? Waterbox 720 XL is finally set up. What? Hannah. I hope your alk isn't 11. Congrats on the new tank. That's pretty sweet. One of these days I'll get a tank. This is, I was using this little calculator, which was pretty cool. If you know the density of the dry powder that you're working with, you can convert that to teaspoons. Typical calc, I was using this for calc, right? Typical calc is 2 teaspoons per gallon. 2 teaspoons per gallon. And I am doing 48 teaspoons with calc slurry. So I'm doing 2 cups. No, 1 cup. I'm doing 1 cup per gallon now. I don't know what I was doing here. That's half cup. I was doing 1 cup. I am doing 1 cup of calc per gallon of water. Keeping that moving. And keeping my pH pretty sky high. It's looking pretty good. So this is the current combination that I'm using. This Jabo SLW10 is inside of this OXO container. I mix the calc separately and just dumping it in here. This will change. Yeah, thanks, Taylor. This will change to a sealed 6.5 gallon Pharma bucket. I think I've had that filled up to 5 gallons. And gonna go dump some calc and move the Jabo over. But this thing, living in, I don't know what the pH of that is, 12, 13 pH water with high solids, has just been a trooper. No added heat. It's just moving the water, and I haven't had any problems. So far, I'm going this direction until we learn that this can't survive. But so far, it's totally surviving. So I just use this to move the calc when it's inside that container. Whatever. Y'all know I dig these lights. These AliExpress lights. They're pretty sweet. You know the story on these. I don't need to go into that, right? Oh, I got a nail in my car. It was funny, too, because I posted this picture, and everybody's like, jack stands? I'm like, bro, that's not really resting on a rock. The problem with a car like this is it's so low to the ground that you can't get a standard jack. I don't have a lowboy jack. You can't get a standard jack under the thing, so all I did was drive it up on top of the rocks, then put the jack underneath, then jack the car up, take the tire off, take it, get fixed. While it was up there getting fixed, I just rested it on the flat jack. It's not really resting there, but it looks like it. I understand the concern, but and no, I'm not going to put a jack stand underneath that car because there's nowhere to put it. That's kind of how those are. What's up, Anthony? What's up, Casey? Have a dead plate coral that started growing babies. Any advice on what to do with them? Nope. I have not ever had a plate coral, and hopefully somebody can answer that question, but I got nothing. Sorry. Just a Monty. I'm digging this Monty. It tried to die off, and it totally is coming back. It tried to die off when I was losing all the acros, but it's coming back, and it's looking pretty good. These guys. This was a fun one. So Ryan and Randy did a... why is it on here like also? Those are fancy pictures. Look at that business. I don't think I did that, but they tested the Kessel 500. And what I took away from that was it's a shadow-making machine. And that's about it. It still does that cool Kessel spectrum. That's super easy. But it makes some shadows, and I don't know. Shadows aren't cool. That's what I got to say. I mean, if we want shadows, we can do shadows. Oh, and it's also okay to hang a light high. That's what I got out of that. This is interesting. So I threw some pumps in with some citric acid in the garage, and they probably sat in there for a month. These extremophiles, man. Oh, this is bacteria growing on this thing right here. Oh, the shimmer. Oh, the shimmer's a byproduct of how they expand that beam. If there was no such thing as shimmer, people wouldn't be like, oh my god, a shimmer. And then have to make a shimwow like this. What? So, this crazy bacteria started growing there at a pH of 2. I mean, it's acidic. Citric's pretty sweet. The pumps are really clean, except I had all this weird... Ryan is going all skylights. What's up, Bert? So Ryan was... That's interesting. Ryan was all 360Xs and Reef Brights. I noticed that the Reef Bright is now more expensive than the Orphic on BRS. You think someone's fallen out of favor? Maybe there's something going on there. Maybe there's nothing. But that'd be interesting. This is calc slurry, so right, this is, like I said, all these numbers have changed because I think I finally settled on what I'm doing, and I'm actually doing 24 times the 2 teaspoons per. So 1 cup, like I said, 1 cup of calc per gallon of water, and you keep that moving, and you dose that goodness. Everybody posts the Chato pictures. Here's my Chato done. Everybody's like, clean Chato. I was like, mine is swamp-ass Chato. I got bugs all over this stuff, and it's nasty. throw a couple Kessels in with my G5s. Do you really? What's up, Carlos? Do you really need that shimmer? Is a shimmer is a shimmer a must-have? Went fishing last weekend. See? And local reefer on the other side of the Bay Bridge was like, yo. And I was like, I got you. So these were some freebies that I took over. We weren't able to meet up because the boat was rolling out before this person showed up. So I left them in the cooler behind or in a bag behind the car, and poof. What's up, Polyp Lab? That's super cool of you. Thank you so much. And they picked up. Last I knew, they were doing okay. I like sharing corals. Did a little striper fishing. We call them rockfish here in Maryland. I don't know why that is. But the kid landed the big fish of the day. This is Andrew. He's the captain of the boat. Maverick Charters out of Stevensville, Maryland. You need a boat, call up Andrew. This is not sponsored. He always gets me on the fish. I fished with this guy 3 times, I think. And every single time we've limited. So, got to dig us some sweet stripers. Then I put this on the grill today. And I smoked it. No, yesterday. And I smoked it in the rain. And it was awesome. Made a little dip. Had some extra smoked striper. What? We got a boat full. So we had some goodness going on here. But it was nice to be able to get out there with work peeps. This guy was retiring. And it was nice to be able to take my kid out there. We had a good time. More pH stuff because we talk about calc slurry. More pH. I like it when my pH is like riding at 8.4 all day. I try to target 8.5. I was doing 8, so I've scooched it up just to 8.5. And I'm letting the cage director with the doser figure out how much to dose. I'm going to have to jump over to chat to address this one. Let me do this. Let me see what we got. Polyp Lab, again, thank you so much. Let me get through this chat. I got a little ShimWow. Bert jumped on. There's the ShimWow. So here's the look. Here's the ShimWow. This is all it is. Ready? It is a 20 watt. I've got blue, and I have 2 blues and a white. And like this is all it is. It's the same thing as a Kessel, how they beam expand. So all I'm doing is creating the same thing with a different LED. So that lens, try not to touch it because I get my damn fingerprints all over it. On this 20 watt with a heat sink, and I will 3D print the Boyle design, I hope, a little body for this so it doesn't look so stupid, and I'll figure out how to mount it. But that's all it is. So you can buy these. Oh, good thing that beer was empty. You can buy these lenses just like Kessel uses and create your own fanciness. And we'll try to make it look nice. I think we can do that. This should be easy enough. Create a little shimmer. I haven't powered it up yet, but I will now that the heat sink's on there. Not a big fan of the Reef Bright. Not a big fan of Reef Bright, but very informative. I am not at all a fan of Reef Bright. They're overpriced and they're poorly made, and they have amazing spread and very low par. Not a fan. It's a ripoff. That one's simple. Y'all know how I feel about Reef Bright. Take them apart. Go find your Reef Bright. What's up, dog? Take it apart, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Hot glue and wire nuts. Should not be that way. I know a calc blender was a joke, but do you think that is actually something I should try? So that's kind of what I'm doing, right? I'm using the Jabo to blend, and I keep a constant, a significant amount of calc in a little bit of water, and I'm always keeping it moving, keeping it homogeneous, keeping it all blended up nice and even. So, and then I dose from that directly into my overflow. And so far, it's been working really well. I stopped dosing 2-part. I don't have to add any other calcium or alkalinity, and the calc is doing it all by itself. Green Plaid says the industry is going the way of the sky. Shadows are not the way. Yeah, I agree, which means the industry is going the way of like the Viper Spectra, because You remember when black boxes were like, oh my God, our black boxes are so big, and now everybody's going this direction? That's kind of how I feel about it, right? So cool that the industry is going that way. Agreed. Shadows suck, and really expensive lights also suck. If you're a budgeteer, if you're down for a lot of control and great spectrum and something that'll last for a long time, and you got that kind of budget, then expensive lights are awesome. But for a budgeteer, not so much. Yeah, those were fun fish. That was the first time I've smoked fish, and that was a nice big slab of that striper my kid caught. So I was happy to be able to do that. Yeah, Taylor, I hear you. Turbulent flow generator this week. Don't have a printer to make my own. Right on, Kevin. Chris has been doing great things, making awesome custom nozzles. I mean, I got a bunch of his over here on the shelf. I dig what he's doing. So if you have a tank, a system, a return that isn't supported by anybody, and you need custom nozzle adapters made, Chris Cleveland he'll do that for you, and he'll hook you up with the free STL, or he'll sell you a very budget turbulent nozzle and adapter, whatever. He keeps it very reasonable, appropriately priced, I would say. And it's cool to see him starting to push forward with what he's doing, because that guy can design anything. He's really good. And he can make a mean nozzle, I can tell you that. Thanks, Carlos. So, yeah, Kevin, let me know how that goes. I think you'll dig it. I think, I mean, it's a sweet design. My apologies for jumping on too late, but I'm correct in assuming that you are dosing calc slurry directly into your tank. I am. I'm dosing I'm dosing directly into the overflow, and maybe you've caught up and maybe you already heard me say that. So into a high turbulent area. That's something. That's really important, because you've got to be able to. It's not so much dissolve as much as it is just distribute that calc evenly, and the only way to truly do that is to drop it into a significant amount of moving water, so it can do its magic. It can whatever, dissolve, for lack of a better term. It's going to be a ninja blender for calc. Yeah, get at it. The new OR3 Sky Blue, same spectrum as Reef Bright, and I just don't like that color. You don't like, Bert, you don't like 450, 470? Is it the 470 that you don't like? Gets a little Windexy for you, or... You like the deeper blues, I'm assuming? Brandon going to do some modification of bars. That's sweet. I dig that. Need custom nozzle for the water box. Love to throw one in my 270. Yeah, you could totally do that, and it that may not already exist. But if you hit up Chris, K. Is it underscore? It is underscore. Whatever. Hit me up, and I'll send you a link. I could probably look it up right here. Let me do this, because that's a douche move. Yeah, there it is. Look it. I mean, you need some customs, because Chris got you covered. Hit this guy up. So K, the account is K.Cleven. Actually, I can type it, can't I? On Instagram. He also has an Etsy store floating around out there somewhere, if you could find him. And there, that's his name. Hit him up, and he'll totally take care of you. I know he will. He does good things. Where were we? We're talking about that skylight. So here's an interesting graph. Let me see if I can get this zoomed in a little bit. It's not going to work. So if you check out my Instagram, you can see how very similar the sky is compared to the Viper Spectra. And in some respects, the Viper Spectra has a better spectrum. Better spectrum than the sky. Not a shock, because the sky's blue is pretty damn narrow. But the Viper Spectra, too much white. So that's what I'm going to do. I have diodes over. Where are they? They're here somewhere. I have diodes to get rid of the whites. So in this part of the spectrum, see all this right here? I'm going to make all that go away. But it's still got this nice 470 and 450. I just thought it was pretty interesting to note that if you listen to VRS, and I do, if you listen to what a blue spectrum should be, the Viper Spectra beats the sky. But the whites suck in the Viper Spectra. Anybody who's ever run that thing, you totally know what I'm talking about. Frag tank with Nest Cam. And frag tank without the Nest Cam. This rose bubble tip. That's not so much bubbly. It was only bubbly for a little while. It's huge. And it split once. Well, it got in the power head, so I cut it in half. The other half is living in a Pico downstairs. That thing's huge. The shim, wow. So, blue, heatsink tape, and the lens itself, super easy to make. Once I get this thing powered up and simplified, and I'll put the STLs for the 3D printed body that I want to put on this thing, I'll put those up for free. And if you want to make this and you need the body parts, which you kind of don't, but I don't know, kind of want to hold that thing together, right? You want to bolt this, like screw this to something. So that's why I want to make a 3D printed body. But if you need those parts, let me know. But wait, let me get this thing running. And we'll see what we're doing. Moki hit me up. He's like, hey, Inappropriate Reefer's like, I want some shimmer. What you got? I was like, please hold. So I'm going to make that. He knows I'm slow. So we'll get to it. Add a little shimmer. Oh, yeah, hey. So how's your battery backup or your backup power plans progressing? Do you have backup power? Winter's over. Doesn't matter. Summer's here. Thunderstorms, wind, all that business. You got backup power? Hope you got backup power. Backup power, backup power, backup power. If I say it 3 times, will you listen? Oh, my God, please go get backup power. Don't kill the corals. Corals will love you. They'll be happy that you save them. This one's a fun. Let me get through and then I'll get to chat. Cool. Sweet. I will DM him now. Yeah, please do. He'll hook you up. So, Reef Breeders makes this Pico for like $70. They make this tiny little Pico light. This. But you can buy this thing for $24. It's the same light. You could buy it for $24 from AliExpress. Right, chill. Oh, this was a fun one, too. We'll get to this. You could buy that thing for $24 and put it over the Pico. I'm getting 100 par at the sand bed and about 125, 150 up on the rockwork in my 3-gallon Pico. And the color rendition is beautiful. I was blown away for $24 freaking dollars. Let me talk through this one a minute. This was really interesting. Okay. Just like wattage numbers and just like popular lights suggesting that they're emitting UV when they're not, I find this picture to be hilarious because you got this little light, right, that I just showed you. That one. You got this little light sitting over this obviously photoshopped larger tank with some corals and stuff. But then there's other pictures like this. And this spectrum's actually crap. It's full of crap. It's not legit because I tested it. And then there's this, how it looks and clamps and stuff, right? And then there's what the light actually looks like. And if you roll on over to Reef Breeders, you see what I'm talking about. And you'll see that it's actually shooting. That's UV because you can't see it. because it's like legit UV. And you got this little guy, right? A little twist, whatever, and some pictures of corals. But for whatever reason, when I posted this picture on Instagram, dude was all over this, like, rah, false advertising, rah, whatever. And I was like, chill. Because it's not that big of a deal. But I got it, and I stuck it over my tank. And it's awesome. Like, if you need, I think there's a picture of it. There is a picture. If you need a light for a 3-gallon Fluval Spec 3, $24. And you're going to be thrilled because you'll have enough par to do crappy SPS, LPS. Like I got an M living in that tank and a clown and some leathers. And I love this little light. $24. Seriously? Yes. That's some budgeteer action right there. These things, man, I want to make chili out of this thing so bad, but I think everybody in my house would throw up. Cicadas, they're everywhere. It's just one of them things. More calc slurry. So this is you're right, this is the calc living in the container with the Jabo making it move, and this is what I dose from, and it works really well. Oh, these ion tractors. Oh, I'm going to have a moment. Please hold while I have a moment. One day, full tank shot. This is something you never see from me. This is the display. Lights were setting. Lights were getting kind of low, big fella. I don't know. I kind of like that tank. I got to figure out what to do. I think it's back. So I think I'm going to throw a tester acro in there just to see what it does. I posted all of the parts you need to make Big Red. And this one includes all of the parts. If you wanted to go all in, this is the kit to get. That's over on my Instagram. This is what happens when your sample tube falls out of your tank. And when your cage director tries to pull a sample and doesn't get any water, that's what you get. I think my daughter's here because my damn dog's barking. Both of them are. Let me check out the window. Oh, the neighbors are here or something. So I tested this pop bloom, which looks an awful lot like the Red Sea, and was pretty thrilled with the performance. It is the best. Now, the spectrum's kind of crap. But it is the best spread of any light, any budget light that I have tested. This is a pretty cheap light. So check that out if you want to know. Here's the Pop Bloom versus the Red Sea. This is the Red Sea. So this, I don't know, 405-ish, 410. This is 410. This 410 peak is lower in the Pop Bloom. And it doesn't have real UV like the Red Sea does, but come on, it's like identical. And it's you can get 2 of these for the price of 1 Red Sea. This is the Pico with that little light I was talking about. And this is everything that's growing in that tank. This is the Kedsum pump that is still working and working really well. Pretty happy with that. And like I said, this is the Pico. Same thing, different picture, but shows, I don't know, the color rendition of that light is pretty sweet once you get to fiddling with it. Actually, you don't fiddle with it at all. You plug it in and turn it on, and that's it. That's what you get. And like I said, par numbers were really good. 100 down at the sand, 150 on the rock work. I was quite pleased. All right, let me get to chat because I'm going to talk about a couple more lights, too. Yeah, all right, 2 wind expert. Yeah, I understand that. Give us some time and see if you change your mind. Otherwise, just go all 450. And if you wanted to go fancy, you could go 450 and 420. If you want to send me Actually, you could do this. If you want to send me your Orphic, I can pull the 470s and install 420s. Something to consider. Thanks, Carlos. That's cool of you. Overpowering the new R3 Sky Blue is bright. It is. They probably use 90-degree lenses in Orphics because their spread's pretty narrow. I think that's safe to assume that they're using 90s. They're certainly not using 120s. At least it doesn't look that way. Yeah, $30 each for $30 each for nozzles? No. Chris is going to do that for under 15 each, I'm sure. You got the RFG from him, and it's great. Really nice dude. Anthony, that's cool. I'm glad that worked out, and I'm comfortable saying RFG, realizing that you can't copyright acronyms. So we'll call that a turbulent. And his nozzle works really well. Will I be at RAP New York next month? Would like to buy me a beer. Puddle, that's super cool of you. I haven't decided yet. My kid has a swim meet that day, and I'm not gonna blow off a swim meet for RAP. I'm considering coming up either the night of Saturday night or considering just getting up early and driving up Sunday to stroll the floor. I'm not going to see anything that excites me. I suppose that's the challenge. So ultimately, it's the opportunity to meet some people and hang out and chat and see some of the faces, put faces to names, that kind of thing. I don't know. I haven't decided. We'll see. That's a bit of a haul for a few hours on show teardown day, but we'll see. I'd like to be able to roll up and maybe have dinner. There's some good people there. Does this Viper Spectre have shim wows? No, but your boy Jimbo does. If you want shim wows on a Viper Spectre, I could do that. For shizzle. If you want, yeah, totally. So, sweet idea, casual. If you want shim wows on a Viper, I got that covered. So let me get rid of some of the whites and let me put some shim wows on there. We'll get to getting. What if we make the shim wows free? What if it's not an optional thingy? How long have I been running a Metris? I have been running Metris. It had to have been over a year. I'm assuming January of last year is when I put them in. I'd have to go way back and look. It's been over a year. Yeah, thumbs down to hurricane season. Rather that. Get your generator, get your batteries. The one thing that people don't, and I got beat up for this once, unnecessarily beat up. I was told that a generator is enough. I have a generator. I don't need any more than that. What if you ain't home? What if you need like a couple, 3, 4, 10 hours to get home or to get your neighbors over or to talk your daughter into, like I would have to do, to come over and hook things up and talk her through it and that whole thing, and to reduce some of the stress? You need to have a method. And it just depends on how important it is to you. If it's not that important, generator's fine, right? But you know damn well you're going to lose power when you're not home. Something to consider, right? So don't beat me up because I'm prepared or because I try to be prepared. I know there are circumstances that I will fall flat on my face. I'll totally fail. I won't be prepared. But I try. So I do that by having a battery backup that's also powered by solar that I installed that you do yourself. You can climb up on your roof and put these things up there because it's pretty easy. Don't fall off. If you decide to climb up on your roof, it's on you. But have some sort of interim solution to get you the opportunity, like if you're at work or whatever, and you're all like, hey, boss, I got to leave because my corals are dying. You're what? Your corals. Yeah, my corals are dying. You need that time. You need to be able to bail. So give yourself a buffer so it doesn't stress you out so much. Yes, they will survive for a little while. But for how long, right? That's what it comes down to. How much are you willing to risk your silly hobby? So there's that. They don't have micro powder blues like that. I mean, it can. Would that little light cover 30? Oh, no. This? Taylor. Would it? Yeah, it totally would. However, look. They're over there. There's some 450s and 470s over there. Okay, so Taylor, when I'm, and this is full spectrum, when I power this up, and I'll get it hanging over my 24 by 24, and we'll do a spread test of this, and we'll see what we got. But what I can tell you is this chip, the COB LED, is quite, it's got the oomph. Now it's only 20 watts, and that's what a 24-inch AliExpress bar is. I don't know. You can go bigger. You can do a 50 watt. I mean, I hadn't considered that, but it is quite possible. What's up, Prolific? Just got some Philips Coral Care and going to run some Ali bars with them. Going 420, 440, 470 on the bars. Do you want me to look back? And we'll talk about... Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's take a look at that spectrum. You're going to run 420, 440, 470. All right, I'm cool with that. Because the color is the Philips. Now, this is ATI Blue Plus, right? The trace is. This is the Philips with all channels at 100%. BRS has since changed their testing to not do that because that was dumb. Because it's not representative of what most of us, some of us, that's a safer way of saying it, some of us will not run our lights at 100%. So they're going to change their testing to provide spectrum and PAR numbers at the spectrum they recommend, which is the right way to do it. This is 470 right along here, so you'd be adding... here you would be adding 420. No, yep, 420 and 440. So you just making... I'm cool with that because you're going to take the Philips Coral Care 2. I'm assuming it's a 2. And you're just going to fatten the blue up. It has a kind of... I mean, up here, it's thick. But it gets a little narrowy up top. You're just going to make it better. There's no reason why that's not at all a bad choice. Yeah, Pop Bloom had amazing spread with a crappy spectrum. But, like, I mean, if you add a 470 bar to the Pop Bloom, you're in. You're good to go. How much does real UV affect corals? This is always the question. Brandon, personal opinion, because I've grown coral, the exact same coral in 2 tanks lit by 2 different lights. One, the XR30, does not have UV, and the other is the Metris LX7206, which does have UV. Same corals, same PAR, same water, same everything. It's just the light differences. And I preferred the color of the Disney, the Walt Disney, under the Metris with UV. So I don't know. I can't quantify how much, like how much does it matter. What I can tell you is the colors were, hey Dad, the colors were better under the Metris, which had UV. And I would take them from each tank and I would move them over, right? So it's not just what's the coral look like under that particular lighting. It's what does the coral actually look like when you move it back and forth. And they totally look different. Boiled some Aptasia in a pot today, and I feel better about yourself. You feel better about yourself, Burton? You should. You should. I have, in that Pico, some incredibly healthy Aptasia. I have in my frag tank the most beautiful population of Aptasia you have ever seen. They are monstrous. They're going to catch up to the bubble tip anemone that's living in there. And I need to come up with a solution. Hey, Mom. Great seeing you all today. Battery backup indeed, Brandon. I think that's something that should be required. It's not talked about enough, and it needs to be a beefy battery. Hold on. Let me show you. We're going to get a little mobile. Hold on. All right, here we go. So I'm running, I don't know, a couple 40 amp hour packs downstairs, and then when the motorhome is shut down for the season, I bring those batteries in and hook them up to the solar charge controller, automatic transfer switch. But you have some options here, right? This is a 32 amp hour cell. You'll need 4 of these to make 12 volts. This is lithium iron phosphate, and this is a 78 hour prismatic lithium iron phosphate, which is, and I was at Home Depot today, and I should have got bolts and bus bars, but whatever, I didn't. You can make your own batteries, and right, this is not scary. You can touch these things, and nothing bad is going to happen to you because you're not going to feel anything until it gets over 40 volts anyway. But consider making your own. These are relatively inexpensive. They can be dirt cheap if you get them direct from AliExpress. I've been talking about Will Prowse for a while. Check him out on YouTube, Prowse, Will, and he will teach you all sorts of fun stuff about batteries. But I mean, you can get yourself some batteries. Make sure you have some batteries. I mean, you can even go this route, right? I mean, these are lithium iron phosphates. These are only 8 amp hour. This is 32 amp hour. But either way, you still need 4 of each. Something to consider. Play with your batteries. Go get some batteries. Just play with them. See what you could do. Right on, Puddle. I got you. I'll reply. Love the solar setup. Need to get a generator if the sun ain't shining. Brandon, get some batteries. What's your solar? Something you did or something that somebody installed? Because I bet if you sweet talk the installer, you can get yourself some whatever. You could build yourself a lithium iron phosphate battery pack, like a 280 amp hour, or get 2 of those and make a Hoss pack. Right, 500 plus amp hours will last a long time, and as long as it's chilling on a circuit that is supporting your reef tank, then you're good to go. Don't wait for people to make these things for you. You can just go make them yourself. It's really not all that difficult. Wildfires last year, no sun for a week. Yeah, that's no good. Back in the day, living at Edwards and Tehachapi, I remember those smoky days. I actually did a sweet track day at Willow Springs on a fire day once. That was pretty awesome. It was so smoky when Dude Rob came over and we picked up the bikes and off we went. Like I was like, whatever, 10, 15 miles from Willow Springs. So it was cool to be able to throw the bikes on a trailer and take them down the track. But it was so smoky, you could see the sunspots, which was awesome. You know, everything, even crappy days like that have their pros. Once AMC goes to the moon, I'll be installing full solar. There you go. Bars. Can't see the screen. Yeah, 2nd gen. Oh, yeah, no worries. Blow up the chat. That's fine. How long could you run your main system off battery and solar? Would be a good test. It depends on, that's such a variable question because it totally depends on the size of the battery that I have. So it's not so much the solar as much as how much battery do I have and the time and the season. So casual, I can run my system if I so chose an entire day off of solar because actually it would be running off of battery and charged by solar. All day long, it runs off of batteries. And the sun is enough to keep the batteries charged, especially this time of year, to keep the tank running. So, I mean, everything in the closet's running off solar all day because it's just running off of batteries. Wintertime would be different, and that's something to consider. Also, the batteries are less efficient in winter, but whatever. I only need to run it long enough to come up with a better solution. That's how I see it. So as long as I can get home and the water is still moving and the water is still warm, I can get home and get the generator fired up. Or if things go bad, then I just run an extension cord from my car to the battery setup in the closet, and I just use the big battery in my car. Or one of the other cars has a full tank of gas, just hook it up to 12 volt and leave the thing running. I can use my car as my generator, right? Because that's a decent power source. So you really only need to leave it running long enough to save your tank, and that's totally up to you. That's how I play it. How long can it run, or how long does it need to run for me to call somebody to come over and fix it? Whether I call my parents or my daughter or get my neighbor or call Moki, right? He's close. I mean, you could any number of different people I could call, give them the garage code, and they can come over and help me out. You got a 10 kW battery with 1600 solar panel DIY. That is God status right there. That is power up. That's baller status. That's what that is, and I love that. So you're good to go. So casual on a 10 kW battery pack. That's awesome. You could run for a really long time. 1600 solar. What's your ATS, Brandon? What are you using? What's your solar charge controller, and is it on an ATS? Because that's pretty sweet. I dig DIY solar. It's so easy. Go buy some panels and just hook them up, and you'd be like, damn, this is easy. Just pay attention how you drill into your roof. That matters. Google that. Battery backups matter. Do that. Yeah, old Nissan Leaf batteries, I think it's. Yeah, sorry. There it is. I got you. So it's 20. Did you configure them for 24 volt? What do those come as? I like that setup. Small battery backup on the tank. What's up, John? Extension cord, exactly. Could you just run your Apex power to the car and run the complete system less the lights? Yes, you could. You need to have a pure sine wave inverter connected to your car and then plug your Apex into that. You absolutely could do that, and that's a very, very simple solution. So yeah, that's what you do. But you have to have a pure sine wave inverter. Make sure you have that. Yeah, I see what the F-150 says it can do, but in practice, but I dig that. I like that companies are going that way. I think that matters. Oh, good. See, you got good components. No ATS. Yeah. So I'm off-grid as well, right? I'm not grid tie. But, it's out in the shed. So you just run the extension cord to the shed and then you got things going? Because I'm not grid tie either, but all I've done is just instead of plugging, my solar charge controller ATS is plugged into the wall, and then solar and the batteries are plugged into that, right? So if I lose grid, it doesn't tie. But then I run everything everything's plugged into the solar charge controller ATS. So no matter what my power source is, I'm always powered. And if I just happen to lose power, then it switches over automatically to the batteries, and I just keep rolling. Well, first, I'm a Ford stockholder. As soon as they talked about that Mustang thingy, I was like, oh, I'm in. Because I dig EVs, right? Y'all know that. So as soon as they came out with that Ford car SUV thing, which really doesn't look bad. I've seen one in person. I kind of like it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to buy this stock. And then it has since done okay. But I'm excited for the truck. I'm excited for anybody who's making legitimate, like Lucid Air, whatever that funky truck-looking thing is, Tesla, all of them. I'm excited for these automakers to come out with vehicles that we could then use to power our house, because I think that kind of matters. But yeah, if you got, like my Civic, if it got a full tank of gas and I got a pure sine wave inverter, I plug that into my Civic and I can totally power everything in the basement off that pure sine wave inverter just for my car running. So totally something you should consider. 48 volt. Gotcha. What else did I have going on here? I don't think I had. I'm going to talk about these lights back here. I'm scrolling through Instagram real quick to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I got everything that I wanted to talk about there. I talked about the AliExpress light. This thing, let me show it. Did I close that window? No. Let me look up budgeteer. _ because I haven't shared this yet. But I will. Lucy, knock it off. So this right here, this is pretty interesting. So the trace is an AI Hydra 32, all channels at 100%. But we don't test lights like that anymore, right? Because that's the wrong way to do it. So this is a Hydra 32, all channels at 100%. Note, this thing is missing some of this, which I could probably make that up if I threw some 470. If I threw a 470 bar with this, it would totally fill this in. But this light is so freaking cheap. This is a $79 light. And I haven't done spread tests on this yet, but I was really impressed with the spectrum. So for $79, and it seemed really freaking bright, but I'll let you know later when I post on Instagram. Configuration was super easy. You set the time and the date, and then you set your sunrise and sunset, and then you set your percentages for daytime, and it's all done on this little screen right here. And it was super easy to do. And seriously, for $79, if you need a light, this might be the ticket. I don't know. I haven't done spread yet. I haven't done part numbers, so I'll let you know. But I was really happy with that. One of the Amazon lights that I bought. Already talked about the pop bloom, and then sorry. Jake Birch has sent me a light to test, which looks very familiar. And it feels really nice. It feels like it's like rubber coated. I kind of like the way it feels. This is unexpected. And does that sound kind of creepy? Because it kind of sounds creepy. So it totally looks like a Kessel. It looks like it has 0 to 10 right there. It's got the knobbies like a Kessel. Ooh, they got detents. Oh, I don't know why this one goes all the way around. That's interesting. So I'm going to fiddle with this light, and I'm going to see what this thing's all about. I really like these budget lights because I think the budget users are underserved. So cheers to anybody who wants to send me a light. It'll come back, postage paid, and it'll come back with a gift card inside because I appreciate the support. But I'm also thinking about buying a Sky just to take a look at it, just to see what I'm dealing with. All right, jump back over to chat. Let me see. I'll probably be bailing here in a minute. Rivian, there it is. Rivian, St. Louis, right? Aren't they made there? Looking forward to Rivian. I'm looking forward to Rivian. I'm looking forward to Lucid. I'm looking forward to GM. I'm looking forward to Ford. You throw me all the EVs you want, and I'm down. What's going on with Neptune? Oh, yeah. I need to do that. Casual, I need to do that. I haven't done it yet. The dose is off. I'm not using it. And the boards are up here. The GHL boards are up here. And I just need just a day to sit up here in the craft room and get those pieces stuck together. I mean, it's not hard. I just need to do it, but I haven't done it. I know that the board works all by itself, so I'm not concerned about it'll work. What's up, Tristan? Jim, do you use an auto feeder? No. Well, whatever. What are the ones that Hydros? You know that Hydros looking feeder? I use the manual version of that. My auto feeders are generally either my daughter or my neighbors coming over to help me out. I know Moki has a super fancy one, like super fancy, and it works for him. But I don't know about that. What did they use on it? What'd you get? What'd you get, Taylor? Missed most of the stream. IKEA. At what alk drop per day do you start the calc slurry? Eheim. Yeah, there you go. Interesting. Per day. I mean, if you're doing once a week water changes, then if you're doing greater than, and it's just hard to do because your test kits aren't they're not this good. So I would say if you see a 0.5 drop in a 24-hour period, absolutely start dosing. If you see less than a 0.5 drop, test 3 times to see what your test results are actually showing you. Because like 0.02, maybe 0.03 is within the margin of error of an alkalinity tester. So are you really dropping that much, or is it the same damn reading you had the day before? That's the difficulty. So, if it's showing you something and you've tested 3 times and you think it's actually dropping like 0.2, 0.3, dose. It doesn't necessarily have to be slurry. You could dose just calc, but you got to pay attention to how much water you're putting in the tank. That's why I like the slurry, because I'm not negatively impacting the level in my sump, because I got a small sump underneath that stand. But you could dose something. You could do slurry, but you're just not going to have to add all that much. I'll do a 24-hour drop test, and we'll see what mine is. I've calculated it before, and it was pretty steep, but that's before I had all the SPS die-off, so don't know. Are they aren't $100 like certain other noisy as hell auto feeders. You forgot the, geez, Kyle. If you're going to point the finger, at least mention that they catch on fire. Come on. I mean, what color are they? So I've got a frozen food feeder coming hopefully in June. That's pretty fancy. I got the Night Crew automatic fish feeder tested to see. Oh, what's that like? I like that Night Crew light. That's interesting. Eheim. Man, everybody jumping on this fish feeder. What I do is I have my neighbors come over every other day, or I have my daughter come over every other day. Same small sump under. So considering calc slurry, yep. Give it a shot. Go slow. Go slow. If you can do it with a continuous doser, that's ideal. I'm doing it every 10 minutes. I do a dose. Dosing today has been pretty solid. I'm sitting at, my DKH is 8.5, which is my target. My pH today hit 8.5, just like my DKH right now. And it looks like I will probably be 8.1. So my low pH will be 8.1. My high pH was 8.5. And my DKH is 8.5. Oh, 3D printer's done. My kid's going to be so happy. Oh, no, it's not. It's just resetting a little. Yeah. You didn't hear it from me, Kyle. You didn't hear it from me. Hey, Brandon, that's cool of you. I appreciate it. I hope it helps, right? I mean, this is what I'm going to do, so I might as well share it. This is kind of what I do when nobody's watching. So if stuff I do to keep my crazy brain occupied is helpful for others, then why not? Why not share it? That's how I feel about it. What I've been doing is, and I will start doing more, and I've only done it once, but what I will be doing is sharing all of my light testing data on Humblefish. And I have a thread, just look for Telegram over there. I've got a thread just for light testing. So, because instead of scrolling through Instagram, which is a pain in the ass, everything is going to be over there. Now, you'll have to scroll through one big thread, but at least the thread will, each title will have the light that I have tested. I think that's it, y'all. Yeah, I think that's it. What's up, Jack? Why is it Jake? How come it serves Jack when it's Jake, isn't it? Or do you go by Jack? Help me out. Actually, I just showed it, and I just opened it up today. So this week is going to be tricky. So I have 2 lights to test, so maybe tomorrow I'll have the opportunity. I don't know that I have anything going on. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that. So is that cool? Mr. Birch, thank you for sending that, too. Did you plug it in? I'm just curious. Because, like, one knob goes all the way around. And one knob is, and it's stop to stop. Yeah, I got you. I like how it feels, too. I talked about this, and it was a little creepy, I think. I probably talked about it too much. But it kind of feels like rubberized. I just wonder, like, this knob goes all the way around, and this knob is stop to stop. I don't know. Like, if it works, it works. You missed this. So this is the ShimWow, and you'll the lens will be very familiar to you. Very similar. All right. Let me try to get this done tomorrow, because then I could probably get it in the mail Tuesday. If I don't get it in the mail Tuesday, then it's going to have to wait a week. If that's cool, let me know. I got to check out the app. Gotcha. You know, I'm starting to be like anti-app. And maybe that's just the old man in me, but I like setting it, forgetting it. That's why I like this light. There ain't no app. Like, they suggest there's an app, but I'm not sure that there really is, because I couldn't find it. Like, you set this light and you walk away from it. That's it. So I kind of like lights that don't have apps, because you just set them, they ramp up, they ramp down, they do what they got to do, and then poof, you're done. But I also get the value of the app, too. Like, I was in whatever the Ecotech app is, Mobius. I was in Mobius today. I don't know. Do you ever walk through your solar setup on Instagram currently? No. Puddle. And I made a video once, but I was super drunk, so I took it down. So maybe Brandon's Reef has a video of his setup, because that would be cool to see. Let's bother him and see if that's a thing. Otherwise, I will. I will one day just do a physical, no kidding walkthrough where I show what's up on the roof. I show the solar charge controller ATS that I'm using, and I show how to set up something that's super simple. I mean, you still got to make your own batteries, or you got to buy some batteries. I mean, making your own is whatever. It's so easy. You should just try it. Like, if you can take some 9 volts and stick them together so it makes like 9 times 4, then you could do this. It really is that simple. Set it and forget the lighter really aren't pointless. The app has all the presets. All right, I'll check that out, Jake. Cool. Thank you. The AI app helped me out on the weekend. Had to turn the lights on early to find a Zoa for a swap. Managed to turn that off. Right on. That's cool. We don't need apps. Just a board to control 0 to 10. That's also true. So who's the Reef Pie wizard? Who's the King Hill Reef Pie mofo that I should be talking to? Because that's also an interesting thing. You know, I like controllers and I have them all, and I don't have a Reef Pie, so maybe I need to meet whoever the wizard is and check that out. Maybe. Last question. Do you have a stream showing your calc setup? Yes, last week. Kinda. We talked about it last week. Check out last week's stream. If you haven't watched that, go watch that. That may be helpful. And then let me know. Hit me up on Instagram if that wasn't sufficient. Oh, let me add this. So, one of the viewers was talking to me, hitting me up, and there's a lot of giggling going on outside. And I was like, hit me up on Instagram, and they did. And I didn't respond quick enough to DMs. And that person got upset and bailed. That's cool. I wasn't ignoring you. I wasn't blowing you off. I just hadn't gotten to it. Generally, that's a weekend thing for me. I got a job, right? I got other responsibilities. If you hit me up on Instagram, let it ride. Be patient. I'll get to it. It's just not going to be right away. Get that when generator, Jake Birch. Casual, Luca, agreed. It was funny. I suppose I can mention it, right? It's not going to be that bad. It was funny. What's up, Leo? Come here, boy. Come here. Oh, just big. Oh, my goodness. That's Leo. Say hi. That's a big, crazy labradoodle right there. Wayne Scott gives me a call. He's like, what's up with this calc crap? I'm like, it's legit. I'm not dosing 2-part anymore. I don't need any other alkalinity or calcium supplements. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, had Luke on. Watch the show. He goes, is that the pretty boy that was on with you last week? I was like, yeah, man. I like Wayne. That's a good dude. So is Luca. Follow that guy. If you're not following Luca, check him out. I link him a bunch of my stuff, especially the calc stuff. Check it out. It's worth looking at. If you're looking to dose, start with calc. Always start with calc. Stay with calc. No matter if you change later or not, always have calc. If you're looking to do a calc slurry, which is a little more difficult than saturated calc, do it. Try it. Fiddle with it and see what it does. Take your time. Go slow and see what's up. Brandon, huh? Hit me up. Ping me. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go outside and see what all the giggling's about. I'm going to wrap up my beer, and I'm going to call this almost an hour and 45 minutes. A little bit of a Instagram run through, a little bit of battery business, a little bit of lights. Jake, thank you so much for sending this one. Dude whose name I can't remember right now because I suck like that. Thank you for sending me this pop bloom because this is awesome, and I'll hook you up. I promise. I've had this one for a while. Thank you for being patient. Does the Glowforge do cut? Oh, yeah, it totally cuts acrylic. How thick can it cut? It can easily cut a 1/4 inch. And if you do multi-pass, it can cut more. You just got to configure it to do so. Actually, great question about the Glowforge. Or great thing to mention is that this is the Pro, so it has the pass-through. And I was able to cut something larger than the 19.5 by 11 bed that this thing supports this weekend for my kid. And it was super cool, one of his engineering projects. And it was just bigger, so I tried it, and it worked. And it worked great. So it can easily cut a 1/4 inch. Have I tried? I'm not sure I've tried thicker, but there's certainly data out there for at least the Pro to get through larger or thicker material with multi-pass. All right, y'all. I appreciate you hanging out for a random. This was totally random, and I like that. We got some people hanging out, and thanks so much to Paula Pal for the super chat. Always unnecessary and always appreciated. So thank you very much. All right. Hope you all have a good week. You're going to see some pictures from me this week from a different location because I get to do a little traveling, which I'm excited to do. Have a great week. I don't know that I'm going to be on next weekend. If I am, it's going to be interesting, and I'll try to pull it off. So maybe I'll have to take some gear with me to make that happen. Or maybe I'll just hang out. Whatever. Maybe I can figure that out. Big spending weeks. I can't. Get at it, Jake. Get at it. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna roll. Happy Sunday. Happy 3-day weekend. Happy Memorial Day for the USers. Hope you get to spend a little bit of time with family. And thanks, Algae Warrior. And you get some decent weather to do so. As always, I hope you're well. Hope you're healthy. Hope your families are well. Stick to it. I think we're heading in the right direction. Happy reefing, and be kind, everyone. Thank you. Now I have to do that awkward thing where I gotta switch over here to the over to this thing, and I gotta peace out.